The Mongolz and Furia played out what might be the best grand final of the entire year so far. It was an absolutely stunning showdown between two teams who are not quite the title favourites, I think, in every big event. But this event, Fisher Playground 2, was a weaker field. There weren't as many of the very top dogs. Mongolz probably the favourites coming in, but really, it was wide open. Furia made it to the grand final, and, well, they took it home, quite unexpectedly. But we're going to go through all the maps, break down some of the key rounds, take a look at what made the difference between these two teams time and time again, and also highlight some of the key players and the playmaking on display during this absolutely insane grand final. Let's get right into it. Let's cut into our game at round 7 on Mirage, where we have Mongolz up 4-2 with a bit of a broken bye. See an AWP, an AK, then a bunch of pistols. And it's going to be an interesting round because it's a round about maneuvering. It's a round about positional play, as much as it is definitely a round about shooting. A lot of this game came down to some incredible bits of individual play. Senzu gets the opening there in mid, and we're following Mazinho because Mazinho, he's a very predictable player. He plays out of the apps almost exclusively. Time and time again. Palace rather, not the apps, but yes, he's in there almost every single T round. It's very predictable. The commentators touched on it a lot. It was something you kind of expect out of this Mongolz T side on Mirage. And now, Senzu caught a top mid aggression, pushing this smoke around here, I think roughly was Kingt, and gets that kill. So now, desperately retaking that space, Furia sent everyone out into mid, basically. And Mongolz have a great call. They actually want to finish at about the second mark, because everything the Mongolz does tends to activate at around the minute mark, rather, not the second mark. Around 1 minute is when they tend to go. That's sort of the pattern, the rhythm of their T sides on all maps, but especially on Mirage, I've noticed it. So Mazinho's going to come here and just hold the attention a little bit longer. Make sure the cat rotation isn't coming back. Make sure the players have their attention fixed. He does that, goes down, and now 9-10 can activate. Even though the players are falling, they still have the positional advantage because they got into that bomb site for free. 9-10 can post up. Lovely bit of shooting. I said there's going to be some highlights in this not just in this demo, across all 5 maps of Counter-Strike played. In this video, rather, there's going to be a lot of highlights. 9-10, not going to be in a lot of them, but this one he certainly is. An absolutely insane pair of kills. Whew. There you go. Mongolz left 1v2. Just going to have to go and save it. There's no way he makes it happen in this one. But just a great start, just chiming straight in with a B hit that comes off the back of a beautiful little mid fake from Mazinho, catching and holding the attention of a potential short player, making sure this line isn't held, which allows them to get into that side for free and get that bomb down. That leads to all the rest of the good stuff. We're going to jump forward quite far. Mirage has some general notes, but for some reason the highlights just didn't stand out quite the same way. We did go into overtime in this map. We didn't want to go that far forward. There we go. Round 22. Mongolz is the player we're focusing on for now, but the general consensus, or the general theme of how this sort of game has been going for Mongolz is that they're just dying one by one. They're not facing mid on Mirage as a group. They keep getting picked off. You get your Kingt frag here, K-Serato frag there, Mongolz a pick here. And this round starts in very much the same way. Mongolz straight into mid window, takes that look. 9-10 gives away the kill. But now the Mongolz actually have an adaptation. They wait a bit, they do pause, they make sure there's not a really fast take, a exec coming off the back of this. You know, it's quite common for a team, if they do get that pick, maybe they'll walk a player out through the apps, through Palace, try to catch you rotating, catch you off guard, catch this con player, maybe overstepping, something that Apex used to do quite a bit, that you could sometimes reliably pick up if you were the Palace player. You could try and pick off Apex if something happened towards mid. They do pause, they do relax, and now the full mid take actually happens. We're in a 5v4. Bang, here come the Mongolz. Mazinho, Senzu, Blitz, everyone comes flooding out. Blitz gets the final kill of a 3-for-2 exchange to make it now a 2-on-2 round. Huge play. Great adaptation. Exactly the kind of call they needed. And now they need to win the post-plant. Bomb has gone down. You know, the mid-brawl happens. You do walk out of apps for free. Yuri's going to attempt this jump a second time. And then just sit here and wait. And this is the position that's going to be the lethal one. This is the one that really determines who wins this round. He's just going to tuck and wait. Yeah, Kindart also playing for the time a bit, just sitting in towards market. He is taking a few more peeks than Yuri, to make sure the site doesn't get walked up on for free. But Yuri, there you go. Out of apps, there's a freebie. And catches Senzu. Juggling utility. I'm not exactly sure what Senzu was trying to do. I think just the misinfo, or the panicked communication rather, maybe makes him think it's actually a player towards Van instead. It's a player in apps, and he goes down. We move into OT now. So I think in OT we do get some really interesting play out of your Kindart. Rounds 25, 26. He does get some really impactful space and kills. I wish we had the markers delineating where exactly the rounds end. Yeah, the regulation does end on a monstrous set of rounds from 9-10, but we've decided to skip those. Let's talk about Yekindar and mid. Because the Mongols were allowing a lot of space in mid. They were allowing Furia to take that space and play off the back of it. They weren't too interested in challenging, and when they were, as I said before, you know, with that one round where they had the adaptation to actually crunch in on mid after losing the pick, but they were generally just getting picked off one by one. In overtime, kind of fell back into their old ways. Yekindar just walking up through mid, getting a lot of space for free, and whilst there are players somewhat near mid, there's no one really paired up, no one grouped up, no one ready to play off of each other in the moment. Yekindar's got a molly for short. That'll make sure that player's not peeking anytime soon. And straight up towards the window. Does get a bit of work done from this position, just in general, but in these couple of rounds, it ends up being very impactful. Just waiting on the edge of that smoke, trying to time the walk, trying to time the peek, just to make sure he can get the advantage of that smoke fade and get vision and a frag. So yeah, completely abandoning mid. They do like the idea of 9-10 being able to hold this from a distance. It does happen. He does it successfully on a couple of occasions. But this is not one of them. Yekinar's able to walk out through jungle and be a bit of a problem, be a nuisance. Shoot Mazinho in the side of the head. Catch Blitz on his rotate back to the site. And that's round done. I mean, he's going to get another kill. We can sit here and watch it if we want, but the actual idea, the fact that he has all that space, the fact that the Mongols are so happy to play in their bomb sites and just abandon all hope of holding mid, I think it's a bit of a misstep from them. Lovely. Lovely little pixel gap to shoot into. But let's get into the next round. I realized as I watched this game back, as I rewatched the demos, as I took notes, more and more rounds standing up to me. I mean, sure, Nuke has an OT of its own, so it makes sense that it has a lot of rounds selected, but yeah. Mirage just isn't as interesting of a map, I think, to discuss and break down right now as some of these other ones. Great opening pick there onto Blitz. Again, one by one, just facing. There's no one around to really help, and Yekindar straight into window. Techno misses the timing, checking after Yekindar's made it straight through. And Senzu, he is going to receive the information that there could be a gap, but he receives it far too late. Again, the comms not great on this side of it, panicked, and missing key info. It also doesn't help that they're not really holding the things they need to be holding. Moldo's going to pluck off Techno, and that's 2 T rounds straight off the bat for this Furia side. Going to progress a bit further, just to wrap up this first map. Something that's going to come up later in this video as well, but first pops up here, Fallen's second AWP. Oh, wrong player. Fallen's second AWP actually going to have some impact. There you go, straight away. Taking out Blitz with the Yuri flash. Moldoy going to pop in the smoke. Oh, furious shot. Fallen as well with the timing on the flashbang. He pops his own smoke, that takes some attention. His flashbang will paint them full white, and then Moldoy gets a free kill. Techno completely unaware. Let's just look at the light show Techno's being presented with. Firstly, of course, down goes his IGL. Then coming into mid, sees that nade go off, then bang, he's going to react to that. He's not even got time to really process what he's hearing, what he's seeing. Great utility out of Moldoy and Fallen to really set that up. give Mongolz credit, he does get another frag. This time on a nade thrown by Yakindar, I believe. Yuri's going to pluck one more off, and it's just Mazinho. Ever so predictable, as I said before, in the apps, or in the palace rather, and down he goes. Okay, we rejoin the action on Inferno, round 11. Furia have been having a pretty good time. They're up 7-3 on their T side, and we're watching Senzu just drop some util, rotate back to the A-bomb site. He's going to form this pretty potent setup with Mazinho, where they're playing the site and balcony in a prime spot to stop a variety of different rounds. Short XX, apps pops. But importantly, this is a place where they've kind of failed in the past. Earlier in this game, whilst facing a pistol rush, they went down pretty cheaply. Mazinho especially. And that allowed the side to fall and the round to be won by Furia, kind of kick-starting their T side. Mongolz are an absolutely outstanding pistol round team. I'm not sure exactly how many pistol rounds they win in this series. I think it's at least 6 out of the 10. It might be more. They really are a great pistol side. It's just they struggle sometimes to hold on to the round after. That's not a feature you really want to be famous for. But here's the exec. Flash over top. More utility coming through. 1 kill for Senzu. 2 kills for Senzu. Finally traded out. Mazinho has been able to survive in the pit. There's a kill onto Keserato. Molodoy and Yekin are now 2v3. And watch this post plant. Literal perfection. Moldoy will play short. Yekindar tucked, right? He's tucked. But he's able to occasionally go check, like flick his crosshair over, check the smoke, flick it back. They hear the flashbang, they know this is coming through short. Moldoy even spotting bodies. There's a frag. Yekindar swings back out. He gets a kill as well. Techno 1v2, he's got to play low HP. This is a winnable clutch. Jiggling for info. Moldoy doing something similar. Steps out. What a flick. That Moldoy strafe, counter-strafe flick to his right. It's automatic. It's automatic, and it has been since I profiled him earlier in the year when he was still playing on Amcal. Always been a huge part of how he shoots. Round 20. This little guy, Mazinho, one of my favourite players to watch on Inferno. Just for this one little detail, this thing he does, which is so Mongolz coded. Like, there's no other team who would ever play like this. But this is something he does quite a bit, which is take these sorts of contact fights up shorts. Just if the space is there, take it. This sort of approach that you don't often see. And I'm just briefly talking about this just because I talk about Mazinho's Inferno play all the time. Like, he just loves doing this. And with his aim, let him. He's going to get all the way up close, catch the long player, see that smoke come from sight, also take out Molodoy. Just a really brief just check into this round, just because I love this kind of play. Mazinho goes for it all the time. Things are really getting close here. This match does come down to the wire, and the tiniest of mistakes will cost you. Yuri in this round makes one, and we'll get into exactly why when they form their setup. Here we go. He's going to boost Keserato up. Now, they know they've lost apps control. They heard the util, they heard a few steps, and they're set up in this deadly three-man setup. So we have Fallen tucked in the cubby. We have Keserato boosted and Yuri up close. The mistake Yuri's going to make, and we'll show you it, then we'll rewind and explain why it's such a problem. He's going to hear steps, he's going to see some util, and he's just going to go YOLO into apps and go 1-for-1. Just goes 1-for-1. If there was only a one player here, it's fine, you get away with it. But instead, we're going to have this really awkward crossfire set up between these two players that can actually be really awkward to take these fights one by one. Because of the angle of this wall that's right here, blocking, he's actually not got a perfect sightline. And because of where Fallen is, he doesn't have a great sightline either, so he has to keep jiggling wider to actually be of any use. Now, where Yuri was sat, great sightlines. He's supposed to be the first contact. Everyone else can swing off the back of him. You've got a great setup that's rock solid. Instead, because he decides to go throwing himself into the cubby, into boiler, the whole setup kind of crumbles around him. K-Serato has to go wider, gets distracted, and also, because K-Serato goes wide, and so does Fallen, Fallen gets a nade out, but whatever. Because Fallen has to get a little bit wider, even if he had his gun out, he'd have to get a bit wider to try and make that work. He gets punished. K-Serato's torn between two angles. Can't make that work either. It's just a little thing that I noticed that I didn't like in the moment, and that very quickly came back to punish them. Or came back to bite them in the arse, rather, I should say. With that, that concedes 12. And Furia do a great job bringing it back to 12-11, but they didn't need to be here. This could have been 11-all. You know, if that top mid setup goes 3 for 2, you're swimming. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. However, going 2 for 3 on a map like Inferno with the rotations the way they are, the bomb sites the way they are, it's really tough to make it work. You see, banana control established. Yekindar had a very solid game, taking banana control alongside Fallen, with K-Serato being that one rotator. With that loss, here's the counter, here's the push. Yuri, 1 for 1. Molodoy also gets his kill, mollies, and runs. Tucks himself away. He does exactly what he needs to do, which is not die. He allows time for his teammates to come around. Yekindar, there's the first. Sure, gets traded out. But all this attention, all this time has been sucked into just trying to get rid of Molodoy, allows them to come around. Now Senzu can get the kill onto Molodoy, but it's a 1v1. So what was an almost impossible situation to win, given the numbers situation, given the fact that Mongolz had outplayed them, is now winnable. But Senzu is so clutch. Senzu's so clutch. So just to break down how the round went, 3 players in B for Furia. They get control off the back of a smoke, and a couple players peeking, using flashbangs to take, you know, safe contact. They get that sort of info. Problem is, 2 through mid, 3 through apps. Mongols are hitting A. And so, into a 2-man bomb site they go. Really tough to hold on to. I think Mongol does an excellent job. But yeah, Senzu, just too clutch. On to Nuke, and it's round 8. Let's take a look at what's been happening. So, Furia up 6-1. They've been having a great time on this defense. Really running rampant. And one of the plays that's been key to that so far, you just take a peek at the scoreboard and you'll not be surprised who's top of it at all. It's Yekindar, a bit of Molodoy as well. You know, a healthy dose of your Orpa helps. But here, this round starts to fall apart immediately. Yekindar gets picked off by Blitz, peeking ahead of the smokes, trying to catch that exact peek out. But I want to give a lot of credit here to this Furia side, because what they do then to adjust is fall back to a very passive but not disconnected outer hold. Molodoy and Yuri are both playing off each other. If we just go back to see exactly what happened there. Both of these guys are able to watch this sort of smoke. Yuri catches that frag. Whilst K-Serato and Fallen are both in touching distance of each other, playing towards Heaven and CT. There, K-Serato gets a freebie. Fallen comes back to help in Heaven. And there you go. All those kills, all those problems, sorted, dealt with. Just with good hack play. Like, just playing as tandems, playing as duos, and not getting afraid, not getting scared of what might happen, focusing on what is happening, and getting it done. Really strong defensive play. Now, round 9, the round right after, we see how difficult the Mongols are finding it to really get anything going, and this is the kind of round they needed out of an individual to spark something on their T side. Senzu's going to absolutely decimate this Furia defense outside, you know, immediately catching Molodoy, but then also staying present mentally that, well, surely that can't be it. There can't just be one Molodoy running around like a jackrabbit, looking absolutely ridiculous. And he's right, it isn't. He's been checking red, he's checking credit card towards the back of those boxes. There you go. Down goes Yekindar in his little spot. Gonna avoid the nade and just keep looking for these fights, looking for these headshots, and converts onto K-Serato. A perfect triple kill. And this is the kind of round they needed to make this, well, this map, this half, viable. Down 7-3 and still feeling a bit panicked, I guess, a bit unsure with how satisfied they should be with this T side. The Mongols call for a very fast A hit. They've had a couple wins in a row, but they want to try and change the pace up here, and it just gets absolutely shut down. Fool and Keserato combine for the first two. Yuri able to pick up another one. Just nothing doing for this side of Mongols. Now, unfortunately, this breaks the Mongols' economy. And so naturally they go for the same sort of idea again, very fast-paced. This time going towards ramp. Keserato gets one kill, Molodoi picks off the first, entering the ramp room. Actually makes it a double kill, Fallen coming in on the rifle and fragging out. He had a great defense on Nuke. That double kill, just to put the cherry on top. Yeah, just resorting to pace to end things off, and they just didn't have the util, didn't have the setups, didn't have the ideas to make it work on the side of the Mongols. Mongols are down in the dumps. This is it. This is their game right here. They lose this, they're down 2-1 in the grand final. And they'll have been absolutely smashed on this map of Nuke. Mazzinho, though, not interested in letting that happen. Great double kill to hold off against the initial ramp charge. Really strong defense. Pushes into lobby as well, just showing some confidence. Down 12-3, unbothered, unfazed. Still going to try it. Lovely shooting. Damn, Mazzinho is so sharp. I mean, he doesn't have the playmaking like instinct and technique that Senzu does. Nor does he have the rolls for it, but man, can he aim. Might be the best aimer on the team. Okay, the comeback continues. Now, back on the rifles, we have AKs, we have utility for the side of Furia. Senzu is going to be our star man to watch here. The molly to counter any sort of early door control. He's going to pop the smoke and look for a fight again. Just trying something, just trying to make this round a little easier with an opening kill. But in the meantime, Mongols are losing out of control. Smoke's heard. Cross is happening. And this is something that both of these teams did to a certain extent, which is if they allowed out of control to be lost, they want to set up a sort of crunch, a deadly sort of dynamic in this lower tunnel area. Smokes off main and waits for Techno to come down to join him. Techno will actually come down and they'll form a two-man setup. Something really difficult to break if you're playing the crossfire. You know, you can play one player here, one player here. Oh god, just the timing on that is abysmal. Really, casters, shut up. Yeah, you can form some other crossfires, but this is the one they go for. Kind of improvised. Terrible timing, but look at the shooting out of Senzu. I was not expecting that. She comes out of nowhere. Keserato, the last alive, does find a couple of kills. Makes it really interesting. But the Mongols stay safe. They pair up. And even though Keserato gets another one, makes it really close, Senzu gets the ace. Bit of a slower developing round here. Out of control is going to be looked into, or taken rather, by this Furia side with two players taking a look out on top of the silo. And a very passive grip maintained on this lobby. Just not going for anything, not pushing anything, not risking anything. Fallen is going to call his team into what initially is a positional advantage with Yekindar outside, grouped up with his Orpa and with Yuri. Fallen following off the back. Staying alert towards heaven, but just making their way downstairs. 910 finds the kill. He was lying in wait, as we said. And they give up outside these CTs time and time again. They're going to crunch you. They're going to ambush you. In that secret area. Yuri actually going to find the trade kill back, though. As 910, for some reason, switching guns. I'm not sure what he thought he was doing here. But Yuri catches that one. And that reopens the B-bomb site. They were stuck. They were in the middle of that round, unsure what to do next. Till 910 gives himself away. And Fallen takes out Senzu. At this point, 4-on-3. Fallen's got everything he wanted. It's now time to accelerate, finish onto that B-bomb site. 4v3, you're up 12-10. You've been laboriously working towards completely winning this map, like closing it out. And here comes Mazzinho to shut it all down. What a ridiculous spray this is. Magnificent. 11 bullets, 2 headshots, everything that was needed. Makes it a triple kill. And again, Keserato left alive, but alone with very little in terms of prospects in this round. He's going to have a peek, he's going to walk through the smoke. Obviously, forever a playmaker. There's 1 kill. Tries to plant. Not allowed. Round 24. Critical round. Yekindar going to show off what made him nearly steal the MVP away. Really, he had a grand finals performance that was, in some maps, undeniable. There's the first one. Just pace, blitz, caught out. 9-10 with one of the most ridiculous "this is a grand final" moments you'll ever see. Just, the smoke is popped open by Igelu, who dies, and he gets collateral through that mess. Utterly ridiculous. Mazzinho also catches Yuri, but Yekindar still fighting, still fragging. This is what made this grand final so epic. This kind of moment, this kind of round. So intense. Yekindar running now down to the B bomb site. It's a 2v3. It's going to be tough, but Furia still have a chance to close this out in regulation. Trying to clear. Finds no one in the ninja spot. Gonna plant. They go down there himself. Gonna try and set something up so he can catch a freebie. They need a cheeky kill. They need something unexpected. Tucks himself in. There's the freebie he needed. Fallen. Yekindar 2v2 to close it all out. Here comes 9-10. The man of the moment after that collateral. Catches Yekindar. Gets Senzu on the defuse. Just has to cover his man and does just about land the shot. The defuse comes through and we're going to overtime. Second round of OT. Mongolz find themselves down. They call for something classic, really, on Nuke. They go for a full lobby crunch, and I'm talking full and proper. They start it off towards the A-bomb site with these two players. A fake Molotov. Not this one. Wait, where is the fake Molotov? Who throws it? I believe it's Senzu throws the fake Molotov. Just chucks it down by the door. Creates the noise, create the impression that this hut is being mollied. On the other side, a similar idea from the two players at ramp. Quite an interesting little detail. It might have been a missed molly, but let's call it what we hope it is, which is a very elaborate fake out of Mazzinho. Just chucks it up, bounces behind them. So they have a flashbang to go off of as well. Senzu, Techno, Blitz, all find kills. 3 for 1. Only Techno goes down. This is an incredible advantage to try and work. Instead, here comes Fallen, now on an AWP. Great fragment to Mazzinho. Yekindar, in all the chaos, has made his way out onto the A-bomb site. He went out through the squeaky door, now flanks Senzu, takes him down. Absolute scenes in this match. This is a classic Nuke call that descends into utter chaos. 9-10 picks Yekindar off and has Fallen 1v2. Look at that adjustment. The old man still got hands in this 1v1 with 9-10. And it's about who has the better composure. Who's got that clutch gene. And for the Mongolz, we see time and time again in this series, they're still young. They're still not quite fully composed on the big stage. They're not able to make all those little finicky details stick. They're not able to just close the door when they have the opportunity to. 9-10, he's on the wrong bomb site. Here's that smoke. Now rotates, but wants to rotate slowly. Doesn't make any noise. Fallen, with that smoke, with that breaking of the glass, creates utter confusion. 9-10 has no idea where to look. Fallen knows exactly what's coming. Bang. What a play from the old man. Furia end up going perfect on their T half, 15-12. Now they just need to close it out. They go into this double AWP setup with Fallen. I said this was coming back. Fallen on the big green, goes straight down into this secret position. Doesn't bother with ramp. He's not holding it. No one really is holding it. Don't need to. He's instead going to check for the vent drop, just in case something went wrong, and set himself up towards the bottom of the secret stairs. we saw 2 rounds ago, that clutch, the old man still got hands. He still got it in him. This time, looking for a pick. Outer's been left fairly open, fairly free for the T side. Instead of waiting for them to get secret, he takes a peek towards Silo, but then falls back to the traditional setup. What we talked about time and time again. Let them have Outer. We don't need to fight them for it that aggressively. Instead, we'll ambush them in secret time and time again. It's just harder to throw good flashes, good util, good smokes on the T side in secret with the low roof. They're just going to have to walk into us. Fallen shoots, retreats with the Molotov. Doesn't hear a full-on rush behind him, so sets himself back up for another free pick. And lands it. Great shot onto Senzu. Back to his next checkpoint. Textbook AWPing. Hate that the minimap doesn't go down, but starts right at the door. Goes back, shoots from here. Goes back, shoots from here. Then retreats even further. Just progression. Step by step by step. This is the sort of thing AWPers should be doing all the time. I see some poor AWPers not doing it. If you are an aspiring AWPer especially and want to play at any sort of competitive level, you've got to be doing this. First border call, bang. Don't just re-peek, retreat, fresh cover. Now he anticipates that very quick rush trade, but after the molly doesn't get any ticks, he goes back to the second sort of stopping point on this secret position. There you go, there's the frag, and there's the third point. Bang. Those checkpoints, those are the ones you need to hit. Does it perfectly. Also, pretty good anticipation to account for potentially a rush trading you out very quickly. Moldoy's going to catch the last player in Techno. And that's GG on Nuke. Furia, 2 maps to 1. Onto Overpass, and we're finally watching a pistol round. Incredible. Mongolz get very aggressive in this one, really desperately searching for info. They really want to find out what's going to happen. They don't want to get caught out by a B hit or a B exec. So Techno pushing forward first, taking contact, taking a look, and get absolutely destroyed. Mazzinho now decides it's my turn to go and have a look. Very interesting approach to their Overpass CT pistol. But they don't want to be caught out, basically, by any kind of B play. And they want to get the rotation up to A as early as possible, because early A rotations save lives. It's a very important part of the game. There's Mazzinho getting that frag. He pushes forward, gets the info. Immediately we see that flood of players. Senzu running up towards A. The 2A players locking themselves into the positions. Mazzinho's going to make sure that this can't be a con rotate. Just going to hold the bottom of con. Make sure they can't go back to B. Senzu now with it all to do. He's on the bomb site. He's got 910 with him. Blitz. He's towards the back of the site with a flashbang. 910 gets that first. Kindar trades and Senzu mollied. Should be stuffed. But some of this shooting, magnificent. Oh, gorgeous triple kill. And that's how a 60+% pistol win round rate is created. With, firstly, good info plays, and secondly, insane shooting out of a player like Senzu. This round is one of my favourites of the entire grand final. And it starts with, well, an attempted K Serato smoke walk in towards Monster. There's a flashbang for it, there's a setup for it. Just doesn't quite catch Mazzinho, who does get that kill. Now Mazzinho is going to spam back a bit and almost get himself caught out there, and then really insist on this sort of play and finally go down. Look at this, just keeps insisting on it, just really wants to catch that spam. Goes down for borderline no reason, I'm going to be honest. There was no need for any of that. Could have taken the 5v4 and walked off with it, instead decides to keep spamming. Now, Moldo's going to linger, but we've got Toilet's control from your Kindar. You know, Techno is set up here. But Yekindar's got a lot of real estate. And I love how Fallen calls this round. Little flashbang to check, we're getting info. We see the counter smoke, and Fallen's already ready to spring this trap. He's got Molodoy sat over here towards Monster. Make sure there's no peek. There's no pick, there's no early push, there's nothing coming in to foil their plans. Throws that smoke and allows Yekindar and I believe Yuri to start selling this fake. Whilst he himself, yeah, catches Techno, then immediately starts running. Just starts running. Now Yuri's tagged low, Yeknar goes down, and Yuri ends up just sitting here as a sort of late round finisher, because they've got all this space. They've managed to get into B. The fake was effective. Something I always harp on about. If you're going to call a fake, believe in it. If you don't believe in it, how's it ever going to work? You know, how's the other team going to fall for it? How are you ever going to get anything off the back of it? And as soon as Fallen calls that rotation back, you see it on the minimap, he's run back to connector. Moldo's walking out. He's got the perfect timing on Senzu, who's just run off. Moldo can now throw a smoke to just protect that bomb site, protect the planter, and they can go for this. Fallen, Molodoi, 3v3. Fallen is going to try and play for himself a bit, play a bit further back. Moldo playing up close. Gets traded out in essence. Gets pre-traded, I guess you could say. And now Yuri's on this flank. Remember Yuri? He was the one player who was just tucked in here after getting dinked. Decided to just keep it quiet. Stay still. And now he's got the perfect flank. Just going to arrive at the bomb site in the nick of time. Take out Blitz. Take out Senzu. Wonderful piece of calling. Just magnificent. I love it when a good flank, a good fake, a good round is put together by a T side. And that was wonderful. Just want to throw this round in just because I'm really happy that Counter-Strike is being played on Overpass again. Firstly, they tried this boost for Molodoi to peek in towards Heaven. Love it. This map is rife with spots you can boost from. And they try for that, just that one to open up the round. And you know what? They go looking for another, so Molodoi rotates out, holds a bit of the flank, throws some util for his team, you know, yada yada. Typical AWP stuff. It's all well and good. And then he gets set up for his peak. Again, another boost, this time over the toilets. Really cool. First time I actually saw this one in a pro game. Bang! There goes 910. Techno gets wrecked by Fallen in a heads-up aim duel, because that's just where we are right now. He's got all the warning in the world, just can't land a shot. Whatever. Molodoi chimes in again, down goes Blitz, now 4v2. This is a save situation for the CT side. Senzu's having a peek. But this round's over, off the back of a really cool boost. Some poor Techno shooting, but that's a given. And finally, a follow-up frag out of the Rookie of the Year. Mongolz under a bit of pressure here. Just some struggling players. Techno back to Con, where he has typically more success than around toilets. Here, just jiggling between the positions as 910 is out towards long. Blitz boosted up here. So Techno's able to get one, and then Blitz trades him back off of the boost. Again, this is a classic example of just overpass cool shit. We love to see it. We absolutely do. But yeah, that creates the advantage. Acerot is going to try and win it back. Like, try to fight back against this. Get swung by Mazzinio. And that's round over. Yekindar Molodoi 2v4. I mean, I love both these guys, but this is not a round they can win. Yekindar taken down by Senzu. Molodoi going to trade it back onto Mazzinio. But that's GG. Goes and saves his AWP. This round is interesting. It's a genuinely great Molodoi round on the scout, then the AWP, but in the middle of it, there's a random Techno 4K hold that's actually pretty strong. You know, we got more cool shit with a boost to peek in towards the toilets. God, I'm so happy Overpass is back. But it's going to be a problematic 9-10 decision to just sit around toilets a bit too long on not this first set of peeks he takes, but here he comes forward again. And he's just going to get peeked from by multiple players at the same time, and he's got no real escape. He hits none of the shots, and he's got no cover to really rely upon. It's a really tough round for him. You see here, Molodoi waiting to peek with his team. Easy trade, or easy kill rather, conversion, as 9-10 shoots between everyone, and Techno actually does something here. Again, misses the first bullet, but this time the spray lands. And now, that's a great peek. Does get traded out by Molodoy on his scout, who again, just hitting everything in this round. But yeah, bad 9-10 play to be caught out in that way. Impressive that Techno actually is able to get 2 there. And then look at this shooting out of Molodoy. Oh my god, the combat abilities from this guy. Truly elite. He's going to get the bomb down as well. Zinio's on a very fast flank. Thought he could maybe deny the bomb plant, given the timing. They planted dice. There was a chance. Instead, he's just going to take a shot in the dark at this 1v3. It's not going to be possible, though. Molodoy, again. Strafe, counter-strafe flick to his right. He's automatic. He's just automatic. All right, onto the pistol round, and it's been quite a slow one. But it's an A finish for the side of Mongolz, and the pistol rounds in this map were just absolute cinema. Techno running out, trying to find a kill, blind through the spokes, bams one down. Mazinho follows up. 5v3, bomb to be planted. This round should be unlosable for the Mongol side. It'll take some literally insane shooting to break it apart. This is a great setup. But here comes the retake. Yuri, Keserato, Molodoy, 3v5. Molodoy gets the first. Keserato still looking for his entry into this round. Tapping away, can't land it. Only player on the bomb site has been taken care of, and there's Yuri. Fragging onto Techno. 9-10 can trade, but here's Keserato, here's Yuri fragging again. Oh my god, how did they make it work? Let's watch Yuri's POV on this. What a shot on the first. Bit of a struggle on the second. Keserato clean as you like. Find the bomb just about in time. Stick the defuse. Cinema. Now the Mongols do manage to fight back in this next round. Not a team with a particularly great break percentage. With inferior weaponry, they don't really seem to make it work that often. But there's Techno with the opening onto Yakindar towards Party. Just taking him down. And now Mazinho, the main focus of our attention, because, look, I've hyped him up in this video already, but I'm going to keep doing it. Mazinho is awesome. And look at this round if you need any more proof. Just lurking up, on contact, gets past the smoke, knows he's got a bit of a cheeky angle, a cheesy little position. Keserato's never going to expect it. Nice and easy, perfect crosshair placement, free kill, upgrades to the M4A4. Now look at this, just clearing angles, playing deathmatch against bots. Quick triple kill. Just fallen left versus 5, he's not making it happen. We hyped him up earlier, but this is too much. A general theme of this Mongol's T-side is, well, a complete lack of pace. They really played it slowly, they drew out every round as long as they could, and whilst it did end up working out for them, it was rather painful. It also took some really miraculous last-second heroics out of players to make things happen, and here they're going for an A-bomb site hit because this is one of the things that worked the most for them. Hitting this A site time and time again, catching out the defenders of the bomb site. Just catching them off guard, I think, for the most part. Just not expecting what came next, just because of the lack of info, lack of contact. Mazinho catches Yakindar here in the toilets. He's just looking for a cheeky little angle, a cheeky little play. And the exec, 4 players out along. Fallen gets traded. Molodoy is in the toilets. He's able to get 1. But Blitz trades him out. Mazinho was content to just smoke him off, but Blitz gets the kill. Into the retake, Keserato gets 1 on his nade. And 9-10 with his AWP, trying to cover bank. Unaware that he could be getting flanked by Yuri. Down, 9-10 goes, and it's just Mazinho versus 2. The little legend. Magnificent crosshair placement again. Just chases Keserato off with that flashbang. Damn, this kid's good. Now with a broken bye, we focus in on Yakindar and Molodoy. They have been the problem for Mongolz. Not for Mongolz, rather for Furia. Just haven't been able to hold on to this A-bomb site when it's been exec'd upon. And even these sort of attempts to try and take more forward control haven't necessarily been very successful. Yekindar trying to take connector fights, trying to combine with that sort of boosted play that we saw out of Mongolz as well. You know, with Techno was in the con and then we had the boost. But yeah, Molodoy missing his shot. Taken down by 910. Senzu out of con catches Yekindar. The A defense falls apart. And now it's fallen with a 5-7. And honestly, what's he going to do in this situation? Just the flames of hell surround him. Techno takes him down. That's GG. Techno through the smoke adds insult to injury to take out Keserato. Yuri in a 1v5. With an MP9 just not happening. We'll see you on map 5. Okay, on to map 5, Dust 2. We begin on round 5. Mongolz up 3-1, and you can bet your bond dollar on it. Yep, they won the pistol. Who'd have thunk it? Now we start off with this opening exchange. 910 picking off Molodoy. Tags technically going both ways, but 910 getting the best of them. And, ooh, I didn't think this happened so quickly into the round, but this is a critical thing as well. It's a critical fight. Whilst that's happening, in the background, Yuri just taking a look and catching a freebie onto Techno. Lord, does that kid frustrate me. The king of stupid deaths no one needed to take. That's Techno 4K for you. B hit ensues, and 910 has his own just confusing moment here. So before, let's just recount this. Like, we get the free kill here. Techno throws a Molotov. Goes to the back of Big Box. Just kind of walks out and pulls a nade. Why? Then 910 rotates into a site that's not really being hit or anything. So he's got all the time in the world to set himself up. He even takes a few different vantage points and jumps up on top of the box, dodges a flash, looks for a kill. And they just exec around him because what is that position? Fallen, in the meantime, guarding the flanks. Catches a wandering Mazzinho. And look, Senzu and Blitz, there's still a chance to make this happen. It's a 2v3, not a 2v4 or anything ridiculous. See, Blitz catches Fallen there. So this round is still on, but my word, frustrating. Keserato catches Blitz. Now Senzu, temporarily here, whilst the bomb's being planted, has a 1v1 he can win. Against Keserato, just can't land it quickly and cleanly enough. Has to come away from the fight. At this point, both players know where he is. They've been able to reposition. They're feeling pretty confident. He's really not. He's going to try something, though. Misses flashbang. And die. So it's round 5 of a grand final. High pressure moment. Techno, sloppy mistake. 910, sloppy mistake. These sorts of things are very important difference makers in grand finals. Now, it's been round after round of just hammering long. Furia have abused the hell out of long. They've taken long time and time again, slowly crept up onto the bomb site and taken out the defenders. This is the counter call. This is the sort of the counter punch, if you will. After setting up that jab, time and time again, they go for this B hit into an empty B bomb site. Yekindar peeks before the smokes. Well, he stops to take a fight before the smokes have landed. Senzu gets that kill. Now, Techno and Senzu rush out to try and make this fight happen early, and it gets them punished. Straight away, both go down. See on the minimap here, Senzu's chucking up flashes. Techno goes really fast and early. Gets flashed by the second flash. Senzu, not flashed, just dies. Blitz comes in, double spray down. Finally traded out. Fallen and Yuri, the last two alive. All this chaos, all this confusion has allowed 910 and Mazzinho to get a clearer picture of what's actually going on. So despite all the chaos, this is actually a round they're able to win. I don't even know what to say about that analytically. It just comes down to some real aggressive sort of play from these CTs. Just basically countering rush with rush is what it looks like. Now, not wanting to be outdone, the Mongols actually go for their own sort of counter. Their own response. And they go for a mid-crunch. Now, it's an interesting call, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Furia have spammed the hell out of the long takes, right? They just tried a very fast B hit that got shut down. It does make sense that they wouldn't go for it again. Instead, play a more standard default round. And that's where we see this mid-crunch come in. Multiple players up short. A couple of players are going to try and come out through the mid-smoke. They're just going to try and ambush this Furia side's default in the mid. There, the flashbangs players are emerging. They're actually getting into tunnels. Case Rato goes 1 for 1. Molodoy, a lot to do. Lovely double kill. What a pair of frags, really. I mean, this all happens in an instant, so I'll just go back through POVs to show you what happened. Case Rato gets 1, but then shot in the back. Molodoy's double kill we just saw. Great shooting again from the Rookie of the Year. Yuri chimes in with 1. And Yekindar just lurking out long. Sees the shadow. Easy kill. Really intense round. Over in an instant. But I like the call. I'm going to be honest. Even though it doesn't work, I like the call. Bold from the Mongols to go for it. Just doesn't work out this time. Right, this round starts with Senzu picking off Molodoy with his AWP up mid. We do get a trade back as Fallen takes out Blitz. But then the real round starts. Yekindar pressuring long. Looking for a frag. Gets it. There's Mazzinho dead. Mazzinho just obliging a few too many times. In the meantime, Techno has snuck his way down into pit. Yekindar doesn't know this. But 910 doesn't know Yekindar's doing this either, so the round is very strange. Kindar gets his gun out. Techno goes down. 910 realizes one player's got past him, but that's about it. So he makes a very astute decision. He just walks through the long doors. There's no way, even if there were T's back here, they're expecting this. This should catch them off guard completely. And this actually pairs quite nicely with Senzu, who's in the back of the B site, looking for a B hit, which you might expect if there's no follow-up to the long play. And Senzu ends up in the perfect position, almost by accident, to shut this all down. Lovely double kill. Yekindar, 1v2, no HP to work with. No time either. Taken down as well. You join me just over a minute into a round where nothing has happened. Thank their lord. It's Dust 2, who doesn't love watching absolutely nothing. Fallen getting weird with it out long goes down. Molodoy, trying to account for this, goes out for a kill. Gets one, just taken down in response. And then we have Yekindar, Keserato, Yuri trying to hold onto their site, but they're smoked off. They're in a really weird position, difficult position. Zeno catches Yuri. Keserato, lovely shot onto Blitz, flanking. Spray down to 910. Techno's only got 10 seconds left. Needs to go find this kill on Keserato. He's only got a Tech 9. Swings. Can't land a thing. Keserato closes it out. Great triple kill. Right after one of the most boring rounds of Counter-Strike you'll ever sit through. If you watch the demo, you'll know what I'm talking about. We got some missed utility left, right, centre here. But Keserato ultimately going to be holding this bomb site in his little position. It's really cool, this little spot he's dug himself into. Just a headshot position, but a bit of an off angle that no one's really expecting. The Mongol's going to try and make it work anyway. Look at this shooting out of Mazzinho. Great double kill. Frags do start coming back as Molodoy pops the smoke. But it's an insane effort out of Mazzinho to recover this round. Given Keserato's double kill, given Molodoy's contribution as well, he's going to have to try and do it all himself. Down 11-5. Losing this round puts you on series point, or your opponent's on series point. Gets another one. Notices a player in the site as well. Trying to dance between the angles. Not really relying on 910, who can't over-peek due to the plate in the bomb site. Still dance between the angles, and oh, Mazzinho. So close to doing it, so close to making it happen. But there's Molodoy with an insane combat or flick. And that's series point for Furia. The final round of this series. Yes, I'm going to spoil it now. Yekindar, aggressive on short. Bad Molotov allows him to take this peek. He doubles up. Frags do come back the other way. And Keserato, yeah, a bit ambitious on his run through to mid. Just gets decapitated by 910, who has had a decent go of it with the rifles of late. Boosh. Lovely shot. But at this point, 3v3. The CTs are already in weird positions. Yuri pushing tunnels. Molodoy in the mid smokes. They've got a lot of info. And Yuri's push could end up paying out just because they know what's coming, and he's going to get gifted a free kill. That's 9-10 taking out. Fallen hitting a pretty incredible shot onto Senzu. You don't expect him to win this kind of dual long range with such a rifler. Just about gets it done in the end. This leaves Techno in a 1v3. He's got the bomb, he's got 100 health, and he's got an AK. So this isn't a lost round by any means, but it is going to be difficult. He's going to have to hit some absolutely incredible shots to make it happen. Goes looking for them. Not really seeing much. Flashed back, but still no targets. Molotov forces him off his bomb site, off his little perch. Taps Yuri down. Tries to take out another, but Fallen's close enough. Techno dies. And that's the championship for Furia. But yeah, it took them a long time to get back to this sort of level, to be playing in playoffs and winning games. But not only do they win games, they win the entire event. Fantastic out of Furia. And we saw there so many critical rounds coming down to little things, little decisions, little moments, but also some outstanding playmaking. What a grand final. Plenty more, please. Counter-Strike.